Okay, so I'm going to do wrestling through the week for the 7th to the 11th. I appreciate that this is pretty late. Ideally, it would have been ideal to get this video done before Breaking Point, seeing as this is the video covering the build-up to that pay-per-view. Obviously, also, it would have been ideal to get it done before this week's Raw. I haven't been able to do that. I had some unexpected work commitments, which by the time I found out about them, I had already wasted the other time that I could have made this video in. So particular apologies to Callum, because he's always very punctual in doing these and I'm not, and it must get pretty annoying. On that note of how we do these videos in a turnabout fashion, this week in wrestling was a week where it became really frustrating that we do take turns, Callum and I, in doing these videos. And the reason it became frustrating was the week previous, Callum had what one might almost describe as a vintage week in WWE, certainly a vintage week by the current WWE standards, whereas this week that I'm covering was terrible. It was a terrible week. It was not good. It wasn't the worst week, but it was pretty bad. So we kicked off with The Price is Raw. Raw hosted by Bob Barker. Now, a lot of people thought this was absolutely diabolical. It was pretty bad, but I didn't actually think it was that bad. I don't think it was as bad as people are saying it is, and it certainly wasn't the worst show of the week. And I don't know, yeah, it's annoying, and yeah, it's not really about wrestling, but any show that within the first couple of minutes can feature Bob Barker, Santino Marella, and Howard Finkel is going to be good in my book, or at least tolerable. Although what was not tolerable, I'm sorry, any crowd that doesn't pop Howard fucking Finkel is not cool as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, we opened with a segment sort of mimicking The Price is Right, with Santino Marella, who, as usual, was very amusing throughout this show. He's so over, it's not even funny. Jillian Hall, who's very annoying. IRS, who I don't even know why he was there. And Chris Jericho, who was alright, you know, very aggressive towards Bob Barker so that Bob Barker could sort of try and be funny back. But this segment was just kind of annoying. And then Chris Jericho wins with his bid. And then Bob Barker, you know, he does this a couple of times throughout the night. He says, well, we've got another challenge for you. You can win this. And Howard Finkel says, oh, a holiday to Hawaii. And, you know, so Chris Jericho is competing for a holiday to Hawaii, which obviously he's not going to win. I mean, as soon as they bring that element into this kind of match, you know what the result is going to be. It's kind of boring. Faces MVP, has quite a good match with MVP. Puts MVP over after a jackknife. This was quite good. I quite enjoyed it. And following that, what else did we have? We had the very depressing news. We found out that the main event of Raw was going to feature Chris Masters. What? A jobber? No. Evan Bourne against Chavo Guerrero, which was also good. Two good matches on Raw. This was good. I'm sure these two could wrestle a really excellent match against each other if they were given the opportunity. Unfortunately, it was marred by the end being decided because Hornswoggle distracted Chavo to allow Evan Bourne to win. Hornswoggle should just fuck off and die. And I felt that marred what was otherwise quite a good contest. John Cena and Cody Rhodes, that was never going to be particularly interesting. We had a weird segment where Bob Barker attacks Chavo Guerrero and with one strike takes him out, which of course is ridiculous. The main event between DX and Randy Orton and Chris Masters wasn't very good, but I quite liked the way that after the match Randy Orton laid John Cena out. I thought that was quite a good way of building suspense up to breaking point. But the next main thing I want to talk about, the thing that really left a lasting impression on Raw, was As if it wasn't bad enough the week previous when we were forced to watch Mark Henry against the Big Show, this week, not only did they make us watch it again, but they made it a body slam challenge. Possibly the most boring of all matches. And this was heart-stoppingly awful. I mean, just unbelievably bad. It was as bad as the Singapore Kane match between Kane and the Great Khali at Breaking Point. How that match could happen at Breaking Point and not be the worst match of the week, I don't know, because this was probably worse. Eventually, very obviously, very plainly, Mark Henry body slams the Big Show, but there's just so much lumbering around and heaving and standing doing literally nothing. It was horrible. It was horrible. I never want to see this again. Ever. Ever. It was just diabolical how bad it was. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, I would say overall Raw was not as bad as some people think it was. It was certainly not a classic, but I mean, it was so not even close to being as bad as the Jeremy Piven Raw. You know, not even close. That I could tolerate it. I could tolerate it, and as I said, it certainly wasn't the low point of this week. Discuss ECW. ECW. I thought ECW was good this week. I liked ECW this week. It wasn't great, but it was good. It was good. Some good matches. We had the Hurricane defeat Paul Burchill. I liked that this was given a decent amount of time. It was good. It was really good. It could have been better than it was. There were some moments where the chemistry between the two of them became a little awkward. A couple of disjointed moments. But it was good enough that I'm still making up my mind actually as to what I'm going to give the award for match of the week, and I'm considering this match quite strongly. It was good. It was good. Some good offense, some interesting pieces of offense that you don't see very often. Kind of unfortunate that the Eye of the Hurricane is not the most convincing finisher in the world. But no, this match was really good. Then we had I thought it was bizarre at first because we had Goldust and Yoshitatsu against Shelton Benjamin and Sheamus, which of course made no sense because Shelton Benjamin has been being turned face and Sheamus is very firmly a heel, but then it came to light that they were actually just having this match to set up a rivalry between Sheamus and Shelton Benjamin. Sheamus, of the people under the new Superstar Initiative, is having the best luck on ECW because anyone that can be a rookie and get placed into a program with Goldust and then with Shelton Benjamin is really fortunate because those are two guys, Matt Striker did say, those are two guys you could learn a lot from, and they are. So hopefully that'll be good. What happened was Sheamus, the ending was very messy though of this match. Sheamus basically hit a boot to the face on Goldust, not a particularly good one either, and Shelton Benjamin's made a blind tag and rushes in for the cover and gets the pin, which is very bizarre. I don't know why Goldust got pinned after that. But Sheamus is angry that his victory was stolen and goes totally rage and like, attacks Shelton Benjamin. So this could be good. I'm hoping this will be good. I think this will be a good little rivalry. We had a very odd match. Zack Ryder in a squash match, squashing some local competitor. It's the kind of thing I would expect from Vladimir Kozlov or whatever. It was fine, it was short, it didn't really need to happen, it didn't really achieve anything. And then we had the main event, which was bad, but not as bad as it should have been on paper. We had Christian, amazing, and Tommy Dreamer, terrible, against Vladimir Kozlov and Ezekiel Jackson. Terrible. But I would say what really stood out about this match is how awful Vladimir Kozlov looked. Just how bad he was. Ezekiel Jackson is bad. He is bad, but at least you can say he does look really intimidating. He's kind of terrifying. He's very sort of aggressive seeming. Vladimir Kozlov looks like a total buffoon, just lumbering about the ring so clumsily, just like an idiot. And Zeke did a moment where he went raw and flexed and looked scary. So at least he looks the part. Kozlov's wandering about going, "Rah!" And it's actually comedic. It's ridiculous. So this match is pretty bad, and Jackson pins Dreamer for the win. What Jackson pinning Dreamer achieved in the lead up to Breaking Point, I don't know. Nothing, I don't think. But yeah, this was the low point of an otherwise good edition of ECW.